Welcome, collectors, to episode 14 of the HO Files. This is the 3rd Street resurfacing and paving display, one of my favorite displays to show off. Obviously, if you've been a fan of this channel for any significant length of time, you know that's my favorite type of heavy equipment to collect is paving machines. So it's only natural to have a display like this in HO scale. So what we have going on here is a very busy display, lots of stuff to look at. And it's kind of hard to see everything from this vantage point. It's obviously much easier to see if you were, standing over it and whatnot, such as this, for example. That is a little bit easier to see everything. But, as we always like to do here, we'll go through things slowly, one by one, and show you each and every piece of the models that are on this particular display. Now, mind you, many of these vehicles you probably have already seen on this channel in other videos, so I will try to kind of go through those rather quickly. But I think the easiest way to do this is we'll start from the front and work our way back, kind of give us some space here to look at the particular vehicles and things like that. So, let's get started with this Hybrid 7900 bus. This is by Motor Art, I believe, and it's a basic Volvo city bus here. Nothing great to write home about, but it is pretty realistic looking, and I kind of like the color on it. It is detailed inside and out, and overall it's an impressive looking model, especially if you are modeling anything in inner cities or things like that. It's always nice to have a fleet of these type of buses. Next up, we have one of the Woodland Scenic's new modern era vehicles. I love this particular one because it reminds me of a Scion FRS, which is one of my favorite cars of all time. So it's only natural to have one of these on the layout. Next up, another one of my favorite models. This is by Zyklon Models out of Texas, and this is an International 7600 vacuum truck. They made a few different versions of these, white versions, red versions with different wheels. So if you are into vac trucks, municipal vehicles, things like that, they're not too expensive. They're rather affordable, especially for the high-end market. So if you are looking for a truck like this, Google Zyklon Models vac truck, and it should pop up. All right, finishing up with the civilian vehicles that we have in front of the display. Here is a Walthers Scene Master International School Bus, another very cool model. The stop sign does fold out, as does the little bar in the front, which I'm sure has a technical name other than a little bar in the front, but I'm not sure what it is. Maybe one of you guys can correct me on that. But it's a very nice modern model of a school bus with tons and tons of detail on it. All right, next we have this Mitsubishi SUV, the name of which escapes me at the moment, but it is a very nice four-wheel drive SUV. This actually, by Viking, this actually comes with a horse trailer, which is why I picked it up. There you go. And last but certainly not least is the Model Power Subaru WRX STI Impreza in blue. All right, let's get to the actual milling operation that we have going on here. So these are actual concrete blocks that were given to me by a member in the community that actually work out quite well in 1/87 scale. They look pretty good. As you can see, they're actually molded in concrete, which is pretty neat. All right, let's get started. Here we have the Model Mechanic 3D printed Superior Broom sweeper, which often accompanies the coal planer during the milling process to sweep up what's left of the millings. I, of course, painted mine in a factory orange color, as close as I could get to the factory orange color, anyway. One of my first 3D printed models that I purchased and painted. Honestly, I don't think it turned out that horrible. Onto the coal planer, or the milling machine. This is a very, very nice model. Recently released. It's actually pretty expensive here in the United States because it's made by a German company called Herpa. And It comes with a Mercedes-Benz transport truck with a lowboy trailer. I believe it retails for just over $150 here in the States, which is, granted, quite expensive for a plastic piece. But it's highly detailed. It looks great, as you can see, and it has a very good range of functionality. You can lower or raise the milling conveyor. Again, to raise it, you just carefully push in the pistons. You can take the canopy off if you so desire, or put it back on. As for the drum underneath, you can see each of the tungsten carbide teeth, which is actually what eats into the asphalt, mills the asphalt. And it does feature a little bit of steering as well on the tracks. So a very highly detailed piece, a very relatively expensive piece, to be honest with you. But if you're looking for a modern, very modern cold planer, this is really one of your only options outside of the CCM brass piece. All right, for the trucks, I have a fleet of both Boley, which are the older ones, and Walthers Scenemaster, which are the newer ones, like this. Dump trucks. This one is an International 7600, which I've done a couple of things to, such as adding some deck extensions onto, or wooden extensions onto the dump bed, which I think give it a little bit more length and look. Also, these DOT stripes I added. This one, I added a drop axle, which is not functional. It's just glued into the carry position, and I also added a trailer hitch to it. These two back here with the Paver, these are stock. They're a little bit older. Actually, excuse me, this is not stock. This is a cab swap that I did because I wanted an older International with a 4900 cab. So this has a 4900 cab. This one is completely stock. This is a Boley GMC top kick. And for the last two machines, we have a CCM Caterpillar AP1055B tracked paver. Fantastic model in every sense of the word. These are all brass pieces made in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. Extremely valuable and gorgeous, gorgeous models. If you can ever get yourself a set of the original 12 CCM pieces, and again, I did a video on the original 12. Look at the top of your screen right now for that link if you're interested. Check out that video. It tells the story about the history of CCM and the story of the original 12. Definitely worth checking out. And here is the CAT CCM CB534C tandem asphalt roller, tandem drum asphalt roller. There you go. So those are the machines on the layout. As for the buildings, many of these buildings you guys have seen before, such as this is the Center State Bank, excuse me, which I believe was in episode 3 or 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. So check that out if you want a closer look at the Center State Bank. You guys have just recently seen McGough's. That was in episode 11, right? Here's Kate's Candy Creations. This was a ready-built kit. Not a bad building that you can take straight out of the box and put it on your layout. Here's Paul's Pizzeria, which again is another Walthers building that's ready built, part of their train line series that again takes straight out of the box and you can put on your layout. Obviously you can make it into whatever you want it to be. So if you wanted this to be Bill's Pizzeria or Mio's Pizzeria, whatever, you can create your own custom signs and do that if you wish. And the last building on 3rd Street, is Midtown Hardware. So there you have it, collectors. That concludes this episode of the HO Files. Without question, one of the most impressive, in my opinion, displays that I have. It's just fun to look at. A lot of cool things going on here with the paving and the milling machine resurfacing, plus obviously the detour with the traffic going through here. There's always something to look at. When it's actually on the layout, there's obviously road, which again adds an element of realism, whether it's the fresh laid mat of asphalt, the milled road that you can see here, or the temporary asphalt that's been laid for the through traffic to drive through here. But again, for putting it on the review area for sake of shooting the video, obviously that wasn't necessary to show you. But there you go. There you have it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Please take care of yourself and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.